Foxfight Amplified with Victoria Saha, talking about a story you did recently, and it's showing the need of people all across the valley. And this is people that used to or still do use food stamps and other types of programs so that they can feed their families. And there have been some recent changes with the laws that take some people off the rolls. In fact, thousands of them, a lot across the valley. And so you go to this store that you've been to. It's called the Aftermarket, right? So first of all, let's explain what the Aftermarket is. Then we'll explain how this is all affecting everybody.
So the aftermarket is a unique concept. It's basically a supermarket, but half is a food pantry. The other half is just a retail side. So you can go do your grocery shopping, pay for it as you would at a local chain store, and then every dollar you spent on that retail side helps fill the need for the pantry side as well. But the big issue that the founder has been seeing now is that because of those SNAP changes, a lot of people lost their benefits or aren't getting as much of their benefits, so they're not utilizing the retail side anymore.
So this would be like if you had a Goodwill or a Salvation Army, people donate stuff to the retail side, right? Or do they buy stuff and sell it? Like, does the company buy stuff and sell it?
They'll get stuff from like wholesalers, put them on the shelves, and there's products that you see at the grocery store. Yeah.
So people would normally go in there and buy stuff, and then some of the proceeds from that help the grocery side. But now they're not getting as many people on the retail side, and there's probably more of a need on the grocery side.
Yeah, so there's a lot more need on the pantry side. You know, it's unique. Like you'll buy what you can buy on the retail side. You walk out, and as you're exiting the store, you have to pass the pantry side, so you can go ahead and pick out whatever you need that you may not be able to afford. But because of the recent SNAP qualifications, a lot of people, you know, they have three choices, right? To volunteer, to work, or lose their food stamps. So the founder, Pastor Dwayne McCoy, said that he had signed up about 2,800 families since May, since those requirements kicked in. And then he's seeing about 60 people like right when they open up. I got there yesterday. What's the date? Okay, it was Wednesday, July 15th. I got there around 10 a.m. So shortly after they opened for the day, and it was just packed. The pantry side was packed.
Now, the guy you talked to, he is now volunteering to meet the requirements. Is that what he's doing?
Yeah, so James Holmes, I actually walked into the store and I noticed he was a different face because I kind of remember the faces of the employees that I've spoken with before, but he was different. He didn't have a uniform on, so I noticed right away that he could have been volunteering or just maybe giving the pastor a helping hand, helping him out. So James used to utilize the pantry side. And he was at risk of losing his SNAP benefits. And he's got kids, he's got grandkids to feed. And so he went to the pastor and he asked for some volunteer hours. And he helps out weekly at the market, separating produce, stocking up shelves. So that's how he's able to keep his SNAP benefits.
Because one of the changes was that able-bodied adults needed to do either some work or look for work or be proving some of this stuff or volunteering in the community. And this is one way to kind of get both done.
And James claims that he isn't able to physically work because he's got some health issues, some medical reasons that stops him. So volunteering is the best way to continue to give back and get some back, you know, in a way that he really needs right now.
I thought it was interesting. The pastor said something to you about, you know, we're going to be here as long as we're needed, you know, because like you said, they're not making as much money on the retail side, but they're finding a way.
Yeah, he said, I remember, the quote was, if he had to give away everything in his grocery store, he will. But it hasn't come to that, but they're kind of getting close. I mean, some of the footage yesterday, there was shelves that were bare because he told me that there was no point of restocking those items because people weren't grabbing those items anymore. They were shifting to the pantry side.
Did he give any, you know, insight on, you know, I mean, the changes are the changes, but if there's an end in sight and how they fix this or go about, you know, working on it locally?
He's holding on to hope. You know, obviously, they rely on donations. They work really closely with 3 Square Food Bank to get those bulk products in. But he's holding on to prayer and hope and his faith that things will eventually work out.
And I'm sure this is probably being seen at not just this spot that you went to, the Aftermarket, but at other food pantries across the valley.
Yeah. the Aftermarket, so I've kind of followed this store for a while. I was at their grand opening a few years ago, and it's actually considered like a food desert. It's unique because every time I go there, there's another angle that I'm following, another story. When I first went there, when they opened, the food desert was so bad that, these people who live nearby, they don't have any way to get around town. They have to take the bus, and sometimes that's like an hour each way just for a gallon of milk.
Yeah.
So people were doing their grocery shopping at the local gas station. So this food pantry and market has just impacted them so much. But it's just another like wake up call of there's a huge need out there.
Yeah, and these folks have been using that spot to do it, and like the pastor said, he'll do what he can to keep it open. But we'll probably be looking for help and donations. I know they get stuff through Three Square.
Yeah, Three Square. He looks for other wholesalers, and he's got a lot more people who used to just utilize the market side because that was their closest grocery store. Those people have now just shifted to the pantry side because they can't afford or they haven't been able to get as much of those EBT benefits.
Okay. Well, thanks for following that. We appreciate that. So you can check out Victoria's story, fox5vegas.com, and Fox 5 Vegas Plus as well. And it's a story, as you mentioned, you've been there several times for different angles. We'll continue to follow as we see how this change in benefits affects people throughout the valley. We'll see you next time on Fox 5 Amplified.